Thinking of taking a cruise on Crystal Cruise Line and wondering the pros and cons of sailing on Crystal? Hold on this video, let's talk about it. Hey, this is Jack with Luxury Cruise Tips. Do me a favor and subscribe to my videos. As you know, I do post a new video every week. So I've been lucky over the past several months to have taken 4 or 5 different cruises, of which one was Crystal Symphony. I'll link to my review of that as well, and I've done some ship tours as well. As I think back now and compare the Crystal Symphony to some of the other ships I've taken, I really have to think about what are the pros and cons of Crystal. Now, first of all, I had a great Crystal cruise. I'm already signed up for another one, and I look forward to that. I really enjoyed Crystal, but let's talk about some of the pros and cons. First thing is we're going to talk about the pros. I would say the ship itself, because the ship was designed to hold approximately 900 people and now holds about 700. You just have space wherever you go. It's very nice. The restaurants seem to be a little bit larger. The entertainment venues and the bars are larger. There's plenty of room out by the pool. Even with the ship almost full, it does not feel full because of the space around the ship. Another pro to me is the food. I have to say the food on Crystal was some of the best I've had. Now I know food is subjective, and I've had food on pretty much all the luxury lines other than Regent, and that's coming up. But I'd say the food options at each of the restaurants were very good. I would say the plating was beautiful. The size of the food on the plates was good, and the ability, if you wanted to customize something in the dining rooms, was very good. So the food, to me, that was definitely a pro. Now, in terms of the options of foods, I think that you had a good number of choices. So I would say at dinner, you typically have 4 choices. You have the main waterside restaurant, then you have the 2 specialty restaurants, and to me, they were very good. I say on the pro side, everything is great in terms of the options. So the reality is at dinner, you truly only had outside of room service 2 main unlimited included options unless you're in a suite. So as a con to me, or a negative, I wish that we'd have more access to the 2 specialty restaurants. Yes, you can pay for them, and yes, if your voyage is more than 10 days, you have a second access. But they were both very, very good, and it would have been great if we had more access to them. Another pro to me is the entertainment and the lectures. For a ship with only 700 people, I just thought that there was a lot to do. I thought the quality of the entertainment, we had an Elton John entertainment night, it was great. We had a Queen entertainment night, and just the dancers and the musicians around the ship were excellent. There was always something to do day and night. The staff was amazing. In terms of enrichment lectures, I would say there were 3 to 4 different lecturers. They were all very good throughout the ship. I would say part of that entertainment pro will be the golf. So there are 2, on our sailing there were 2 golf pros on board. If you wanted to take lessons, they were free. If you wanted to refine your game, you could go to the driving range, you could putt with them. These guys were just great in helping people learn or refine their golf game. The other thing is, in terms of the entertainment, they do have a kids program. It wasn't active when we were on, so if you're thinking of taking a cruise with kids, you want to make sure that they have a kids program. You can ask your travel professional. They may be able to find out. I was told on board that the holiday sailings, they will have kids programming, so you want to check that as well. Another thing that I really like, because a couple of the other premium cruise lines and luxury cruise lines have gotten rid of it, is afternoon tea. I would say that the afternoon tea on Crystal is among the best. They had entertainment at each one in the afternoon. The tea selections were good. The trays of food and the pastries, sweet and savory, were both good. It was just nice to relax during a formal afternoon tea versus some of the other cruises that I've been on. They've gotten rid of the afternoon tea, and you may just have to go to a cafe to get your own tea. But I still enjoy sitting around and having some tea in the afternoon. Going back to entertainment, another pro for me was the entertainment, the sing-along piano in the saloon. I've been on several Crystal cruises prior to the shutdown, and that was a highlight of the cruise. There were times you couldn't even get in the bar. This was the same. There were people standing out the door. It's probably one of the few times I remember on any cruise that entertainment was consistently good across a fleet that people couldn't get in. The nice thing was on our cruise, and again, it's been on every of the Crystal cruises, the piano players that they retain for these cruises truly enjoy what they're doing. They are able to take requests from the audience. They're able to do sing-alongs. I mean, we saw them go from classical music to jazz to rock to ballads. It was an ethnic music. It was just a lot of fun. I think it's the highlight of some people to go there and hang out in the evening. And another nice thing, later in the evening, throughout the ship, they bring hors d'oeuvres around. So as you're sitting in there listening to piano music, the hors d'oeuvres are being brought around, which is really a nice way, because who doesn't need pizza or chocolate brownies at 11 o'clock at night? Another pro is the staff on the ship. So overall, the staff is very, very helpful no matter where you are. Your cabin steward, the butlers they provide, in the restaurants, at the bars, at the front desk. Again, I can't speak highly enough about how amazing the staff is. But I think Crystal does something a little bit unique. When you do take an excursion, they are sending hosts with, which are typically staff members. In our case, we had a couple people from the dining room go. The dining room manager went on one of our tours. Some of the band and some of the dancers would go. They're on the bus with you. So they do have the full-time professional guides from the local company, but they're typically sending on every bus another staff member to escort you. And it really is nice because A, you get to know these people, and B, it's just nice to make sure that someone with you is watching out for you as well as the local people. So I think that really is a little bit different from anything else I've seen, and it really did make the excursions very enjoyable. Now, one of the complaints people have about luxury cruising is in the middle of the day is a food lull because there's no buffets like the big ships. You may have a bar that may have some snacks or cookies, but on Crystal you have the bistro. And the bistro during the day will change the food they're serving. It's a feast. I mean, whether you want sweets or savories or some cheeses, plus it's right where the coffees are. So if you want your gourmet coffees, I just really enjoyed it. I wish it opened earlier and stayed open later, but the selection they had during the middle part of the day was excellent, and it was really a pro and really made some of the days, if you came back from excursion and you just wanted a snack, there was always something to eat at the bistro. One of the other rooms I think is a real pro are the staterooms. So there are the original classic staterooms, which have been refreshed, and then you have the new staterooms, because remember, they reduced the ship's capacity by almost 30%. So you have different categories of staterooms, but all the staterooms, the soft goods are very nice, the amenities in the room, there's USBs, there's plenty of plugs. There's even a few staterooms on the ship that have washer and dryer in the stateroom. Very unique. I don't know if I've seen that in any other ships. So the staterooms, to me, the bedding was nice. I really enjoyed the staterooms. So the staterooms would be a pro for me. Okay, now I did say I'm going to be honest and provide you some negatives. So my first negative is the price. I think that the price on Crystal is fair, but I think when you look at some of the other competitors, Silversea, Regency, and Seabourn, which to me are direct competitors, I think that what I've seen when I'm looking at sailings is the others are less expensive for a similar cruise, because the issue is the entry-level cabin on Crystal is much smaller than the entry-level cabin on the other luxury cruise lines. So in order to get that same 300 square foot cabin, 350 square foot cabin, you have to go up a couple categories. And by the time you go up a couple categories, Crystal, on many of the trips that I've looked at, is more expensive than the other ones. The other thing is that when you look at, say, Silversea and Regent, this is another negative to me. Silversea and Regent both include excursions. Crystal does not include the excursions. So when you look at the cabins are smaller, the price is higher, and the inclusions are less, it truly does make the Crystal experience more expensive many times. The other thing I am seeing is that many of the other cruise lines have a better onboard booking program. When we tried to book our next cruise, they offered us approximately 2.5% to book the next cruise, whereas other cruise lines I've been on will give you between 5 to 10% off your next cruise. So to me, that's a negative in that the original price is higher and the incentive for booking on board is less than everybody else. And again, they do not include excursions as Regent and Silversea do. Even though Regent is more expensive, but again, they include the first or business class airfare, but you can get an air credit and bring the price down on that. Another negative to me right now, and I think this is temporary, is they only have 2 ships. I have a very, very large credit that I have to use between now and 2025. I am having trouble finding sailings that fit my schedule that I have interest in because we've cruised a lot, and because they only have the 2 ships, the flexibility just isn't there to book 100% of what I want. Again, they've said they've ordered 4 more ships, and I'm guessing that'll be 2026, 27, 28. Another negative for me is at dinner time, the access to the specialty restaurants. As I mentioned before, they're amazing. The Italian and the Asian restaurant, amazing. But the issue is on a 7-day cruise, you have 1 access for free. 10 days and over, you have 2 accesses, or a total of 4, but you can use them as you want. If you want to go to them again, if there's availability, you can pay, and as I recall, it was $60 for each one. Worth it, yes, but again, I think at dinner time, the issue is you only have 2 other options, which would be the Taste Kitchen and the main restaurant. So if you want to do the other restaurants, there's an additional charge, whereas the other cruise lines, such as Silversea and Regent, you're going to have between 5 to 7 dining choices in the evening. Now, the old Crystal did have the Brazilian steakhouse. That was included in the buffet. It's no longer there. I asked when we were there if they have any plans on bringing that back. I was told unsure. But food great, but again, the limitation getting to the specialty restaurants on an included basis, to me, is a negative. Overall, though, these negatives will not stop me booking. As I mentioned, I'm already scheduled for another cruise in 25. Crystal is amazing. Food, staff, everything is all the pros. So hopefully this will help you think about taking a Crystal cruise. And again, this is Jack with Luxury Cruise Tips, and thanks for watching my videos.